Willie Wirehands, a children's book inspired by our visit to the Okefenoke Electric Cooperative. This is Willie. Willie is recognized by everyone for his wire hands. Willie is part of a big family known as a co-op. A co-op is formed to meet a need, and the investors or members own the company. Willie had never thought about what he wanted to do after finishing school. Willie loved working outdoors and got along with all of his friends. Some people said he was creative, collaborative, and a great communicator. One day at school, Willie's teacher told the class they would have a special guest. Willie was curious to know who would be visiting. The next day, Willie and his classmates learned the visitor was coming from Okefenoke. Some students thought they would be learning about a swamp, but it is actually a rural electric cooperative that serves customers in southeast Georgia and northeast Florida. At the end of the presentation, Willie and his classmates watched a pole climbing demonstration, tried on equipment, and took a bucket ride. Willie felt like he was on top of the world. During dinner that night, Willie's mom and dad asked him about his day at school. Willie was excited to share everything he had learned. Willie told his mother about all the different jobs that people who work at Okefenoke REMC have. Some people work as linemen, other people work as engineers and customer service representatives. Linemen work hard to make sure we have power to our homes so we can charge our cell phones, watch television, and cook. Without power, we cannot do these things. He told his parents that being a lineman is a very important job. Men and women alike can be a lineman. They repair electrical wires by working on damaged or old power lines. Linemen climb poles, wear boots, and even wear a hard hat. Willie explained another important job at Okefenoke REMC is the job of an electrical engineer. They design ways to improve and maintain power systems to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity. Willie told his father about a special island that received electricity from Okefenoke REMC. It's called Cumberland Island. An engineer created a way to replace the old line that dated back to the 1940s. He constructed a special pole that would sit in the mud of the marshes. It required a lot of innovation, teamwork, and hard labor to get the new line installed across the marsh. A helicopter pilot was hired from Oregon, and with his help, the line was completed in 48 hours. Customer service representatives are also an important part of Okefenoke REMC. Willie learned that a customer service representative answers phones to assist members when they have questions or problems. He said the lady who gave him the sucker can also take money from members when they visit the office to pay their power bill each month. While sleeping that night, he started dreaming about traveling in a boat to an island, touring a mansion, and watching wild horses roaming the land. On the bus ride to school the next day, Willie couldn't stop thinking about everything he learned. Willie noticed a substation with a large plant being built behind it. Willie couldn't wait to ask his teacher about what the new company was starting. Willie's teacher explained to him that when he was old enough to drive, his car may be fueled by hydrogen instead of gasoline or batteries. The new plant was called Plug Power. Willie knows what he wants to do when he finishes high school. Willie will be part of the Okefenoke REMC family. The end. This year, OREMC hosted 5 Glynn County educators over 2 days, immersing them in the day-to-day operations and getting to know the people behind the power. From a ride in a bucket, feeling the weight of a line worker's utility belt, being briefed on the big screen in the control center, and seeing a demonstration of a self-healing electric system of the future, the educators quickly realized there were more to electricity than simply flipping a switch. The strong sense of family and the communication between employees, often without saying a word to one another, were things that stood out to this group. They began day one with an overview of OREMC history, electric membership cooperatives, and the cooperative form of business. Following that, they were met with the management team and human resources to better understand roles, cooperative culture, OREMC policies, procedures, training, and educational requirements for various positions. From there, they got a bit more close up and personal look at the people behind the power at OREMC and learned about employees' individual jobs and journeys. They learned that there were many different paths to jobs at OREMC, as some employees started as high school students, others advanced through on-the-job training, and some required college degrees. The teachers also traveled to a job site where a line crew was building a new service location. Rounding out day one was a power switching operations in the dispatch communication center. This demonstrated the process and communications between dispatchers and the linemen in the substations rerouting power across the OREMC system. It also highlighted the IT connectivity of OREMC's distribution system through supervisory control and data acquisition, or SCADA. Day two began bright and early with the group meeting the crew at the Kingsland District office. Chatting with the linemen, the educators got a chance to try on some of the protective gear, including rubber gloves, sleeves, and climbing and tool belts. Then they were given a pole climbing and pole to top rescue demonstration, followed by a boat ride out the 3.5 miles of line running from the mainland under 2 rivers and across the marsh to serve consumer members living on Cumberland and Little Cumberland Islands. There were questions abound regarding the 45 poles, how they were outfitted, how long it took to build, who climbed which poles. The fact that Cumberland Island didn't get electric service until the 1940s was eye-opening in itself. The 5 Glynn County educators would like to thank Okefenoke REMC for their externship experience this year.